Thousands of Chadians, including foreign leaders, attend state funeral of fallen Chadian President Idriss Déby Itno, whom they describe as a brave soldier. Cameroon's Defense Minister Joseph Betty Assomo represents President Paul Biya at the ceremony. Prime Minister Joseph John Gute grants audience to a delegation of UNICEF experts headed by Arts and Culture Minister who come to present the stakes of Bimbia slave village to the head of government. Day 8 and 9 matches of the First and Second Division Professional Football League of Cameroon with Union of Douala to clash with AS Fortuna in Douala. And those are top stories. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the 7:30 News. With me, Gladys Tata.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
Welcome back. World leaders present at the funeral of President Idriss Déby Itno have told the people of Chad that they will not live to see their country devastated by rebels. The leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, were speaking at the nation's square in N'Djamena, where thousands of people gathered to pay their last respect to fallen Chadian leader. President Paul Biya was represented at the funeral by the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Betty Assomo. Moki Edwin Kinzaka reports from N'Djamena.
Difficult moments for Chad and for the friends of Chad who turned out at the nation square in N'Djamena to mourn a man they called the builder of the nation, an African visionary. Just last year, his people made him marshal in recognition of his efforts to curb his country and the continent of galloping insecurity. Just this month, he was proclaimed winner of Chad's presidential election with close to 80% of the votes. And this month, as he prepared to be sworn into office, President Idriss Déby Itno was killed. At the funeral, the Transitional Military Council and his family reiterated that the Marshal of Chad was shot at the war front and he gave up the ghost after he was evacuated for treatment in N'Djamena. Several African leaders paid their last respects to the foreign African hero. Cameroon was represented by Joseph Betty Assomo, the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense. He discussed with the military council on behalf of President Paul Biya. French President Emmanuel Macron said his country will not live to see Chad devastated by rebels. Idriss Déby's family said they will forever miss the Pan-Africanist who devoted his life for peace and security on the continent, who fought terrorism in the far north region of Cameroon, Chad, Nigeria and Niger. He who fought for a return to peace in Mali and the troubled Central African Republic. President Idriss Déby's body was handed over to his family for burial in Anjora in the north of Chad.
Chadians and their host communities in Logon and Shari division of the Far North region have been expressing grief and paying homage to the late Chadian President Idriss Déby Itno. While a delegation from Kuseri traveled to N'Djamena for the funeral, the senior divisional officer for Logon and Shari plus others watched the live broadcast on television. Our Far North regional correspondent Ayuk John Ashu completes that story.
Followed by a requiem mass at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Yaoundé in his honor. The mass was celebrated by the Archbishop of Yaoundé, Notre Dame Cathedral, with a message of life in between. Late Professor Gervais Mendoze, who is the founder of the emblematic choir dubbed La Voix du Cénacle, will be remembered in the religious body for his numerous publications on Mary, the Mother of Jesus, and other Christian works. Then departure of the mortal remains of late Professor Gervais Mendoze to Otuakam village near Sang Malima, where he will be laid to rest this Saturday.
And this press release from the President of the Republic to the Right Honorable Kawayege Jibril, President of the National Assembly at Ngwakele Glass House here in Yaoundé, and it reads, Mr. President, I learned the sad news of the death in Boya of Honorable Emilia Monjowa Lifaka. I share your sorrow as well as that of her family. As a Member of Parliament and Vice President of the National Assembly, she left her mark on this House with her long presence and her experience in her parliamentary issues. Mrs. Monjowa Lifaka was also a loyal and dynamic militant of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement. She was equally an elite of the Fako division who was cherished and respected by the people. And again, he says her demise is a great loss for the Southwest region, our party, the National Assembly, and Cameroon, which she served with dignity. On this sad occasion, I extend to you, her family, the Bakwere community, and Parliament my sincere condolences, as well as the moving compassion of my wife. Sincerely, Paul Biya, President of the Republic of Cameroon. And on to other news. All presidents of military tribunals across the country, the regions, have converged on Yaoundé to reflect on the challenges that impede justice to be rendered in their respective courts. They are equally being updated on the skills on human rights, ethics and deontology, judicial communication, and the friction which exists in military courts between lawyers and military judges. Constantine Baum tells us more in the following report.
The structure is hosting an indispensable come-together of all the presidents of the 10 regional tribunals. The participants make up the cream of military justice in Cameroon.
It's to evaluate 2020, identify challenges, and probably give instructions and recommendations for this year. The ultimate objective is to upgrade services within military justice in our country.
It was an opportunity for the Secretary General of the Ministry of Defense, Kamsulu Sahid, who presided over the opening session, to congratulate the participants for their successes, but exhorted them to reflect on poor practices that continue to tarnish the image of military justice in particular and justice as a whole in Cameroon.
But we expect them to upgrade, as I said, the quality of service and even the quality of decisions that are going to be taken before military courts.
The different workshops will see presentations on human rights and criminal justice, ethics and deontology, judicial communication, management of legal fees, challenges, difficulties of the defense, with focus on lawyers before military justice. The opening ceremony witnessed the unveiling of the scale of justice, which is typical of Anglo-Saxon practices that portray equity, good conscience, and natural justice, fundamentals of common law from the perspective of Lord Benin.
And on to one of our lead stories. The United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, has dispatched an expert to evaluate the Bimbia slave trading site and identify improvements to be made in view of its possible admission into the list of heritage sites. Prime Minister Joseph John Gute today granted audience to the delegation of experts led by Arts and Culture Minister Bidung Pat. The delegation also presented the stakes of the Bimbia slave village as well as the plan of action of the visiting international expert. Star Building correspondent Christian Che Atam has more.
The slave trade was intense along the coast of Bimbia between 1760 and 1841. It is estimated that some 40,000 slaves transited through the site. Bimbia holds an important part of Cameroon's history, but the site has remained largely unknown. The audience which Prime Minister Joseph John Gute granted the Minister of Culture Bidung Pat and the international and Cameroonian experts was a forum to present the inspection mission about to be carried out on the site from the 25th of April to the 3rd of May. The mission is meant to identify measures which can be taken to valorize the site.
It's the first time when, in the beginning of our mission, we see the government who want to help us support the candidacy of Bimbia. But what is important is not only to go and inscribe Bimbia. We just want to share with all the world the intangible heritage about Bimbia.
Prime Minister Joseph John Gote has reassured the delegation that the government of Cameroon is totally committed towards uplifting Bimbia to its true status of a major heritage site.
Recently appointed officials at the Central Services of the Ministry of Communication have been commissioned into duty with a call for them to work for the successful organization of upcoming events like the AFCON. The communication boss chaired the installation ceremony of the Inspector General, technical advisors, directors, sub-directors and service heads, as you tell us in the following report, Beatrice Ngom.
There are over 100 of them who converge on the esplanade of the Ministry of Communication. Last March 15, they were picked out and assigned to different positions of responsibility in the central services. Today, the newly appointed Inspector General, technical advisors, directors, sub-directors and service heads have been given directives on what is expected of them.
You are being commissioned into office at a time when our ministry is faced with the challenge of organizing a major international event, the Africa Cup of Nations. There will be no room for any mistake.
The achievements of Professor Justine Difo in the empowerment of women and in nation building were also recognized.
I'm very glad because it marks 30 years of teaching at the Yaoundé University and other universities over the world. It's not for me that I'm working, it's for others.
The Minister of Communication, René Manuel Sadi, decorated her Knight of the National Order of Valor.
The use of bank cards, notably ATM, debit, prepaid and credit cards, have become an important instrument for bank clients to easily have access to their accounts. In the following report, Ewane Pole went finding out on the charges levied by using bank cards and how these charges are managed by the different banking institutions. His report.
Bank cards are typically plastic cards issued by a bank to its client that performs one or more of a number of services that relate to giving the client access to their bank accounts. This is facilitated by automatic teller machines.
You avoid transporting a lot of money in cash. You make your operation without meeting a bank official. We have other solutions. You don't need to go physically at the bank to withdraw the money. You just use your phone.
According to experts in electronic payment system, the costs and charges levied on bank cards are managed by the different banking institutions.
The COBAC is the organization which regulates everything around functioning of the cards. They have to collect charges and payments and redistribute it to those who have the different actors of the system. COBAC gives them, they have limits.
They say 4 categories of bank cards comprise of debit cards, prepaid, credit cards and ATM cards, which permit the customer to withdraw, deposit or transfer money from any automatic teller machine.
Today, April 23, is being observed globally as the World Book and Copyright Day. The challenge this year is to share a story. A theme resonated today by Cameroon's Minister of Arts and Culture, Bidungpat, who converged on his ministry with professional writers. Here now is an excerpt of Minister Bidungpat, who highlights the importance of the day and how it should be celebrated.
Au Cameroun, la Journée mondiale du livre. In Cameroon, the World Book and Copyright Day is emphasized on the importance of reading in the life of every citizen, be it in school or for leisure. With the present context marked by the quest for many states to safeguard their national legacies, reading books is very important. The best way to celebrate this day is to create space for reading, teach children the benefits of reading, and meet with friends to explore existing books. Rencontrer les amis pour la lecture du livre.
And onto this advertorial, we'll be taking you down to the littoral region where CMENCAM has laid the foundation stone for its first ever mortar plant located at Bonaberi in Douala 4 subdivision. The machine, according to top management of the cement company, will enable them produce quality mortars for their customers. The foundation stone was laid during a ceremony chaired by the Director General of CMENCAM, Benoit Galichet, and his assistant, Noe Ikwe. Mado Kwele attended the ceremony and filed in this report from CRTV Littoral in Douala.
CMENCAM intends to continuously solidify its position as best leading company in the production of cement and other construction material in Cameroon. As such, the company has decided to join the mortar business.
It's a huge market here in Cameroon. It's more than 400,000 tons per year business. And we say CMENCAM can take a place there. Why CMENCAM will take a place? Because CMENCAM will produce mortar here in Cameroon and then will produce excellent product like we do already with the cement. Okay, so it's why we have decided to invest more than $1 billion of francs CFA to be able to produce more than 50,000 tons per year.
To concretize this, top management of CMENCAM have laid the foundation stone of this dry mortar plant in Bonaberi, Douala, which will produce a variety of mortars for the satisfaction of its customers.
It's a plant that we use to produce mortar. In this case, for the beginning, we are going to start with dry mortar, which is just a mixing sand, cement, and admixture in the right proportion. Starting with 3 different types of dry mortar. We have tile adhesives. We equally have what we call a masonry mortar. Then we also have technical mortar like waterproof.
According to the Director General of the cement company, the dry mortar plant project will in no way affect the cement production business.
We are offering a solution today with mortar, but we are already doing it with, for example, concrete. We have concrete plants which can deliver directly your concrete on your working place. So that's the future. So it will not, I would say, absorb the cement. It will just replace slowly and consume the same quantity of cement or even more.
The CMENCAM dry mortar plant will be completed within 7 months. Meantime, experts in charge of putting in place the plant promise to begin production as soon as possible in order to make available their products in the market as from July.
In health, the over 600,000 doses of vaccines put at the disposal of Cameroon have been dispatched across the National Triangle. For the exercise, a huge mobilization in terms of human resources, logistics and even storage facilities is needed to cover expanded immunization program. In the report that follows, Idriss evaluates the cost in terms of logistics and manpower.
2 samples of the COVID-19 vaccine have this far touched on Cameroonian soil, Sinopharm and AstraZeneca. But to transport these vaccines to the 243 health districts dotted across the country, government invested in human, logistic and storage facilities. 1,000 health staff were dispatched to the regions.
The introduction of new vaccine to the EPI program require additional resources, but in terms of human resources, we have at now 243 vaccination centers and at around 600 vaccination team. Currently, we are working every day from the morning to 10 p.m.
The vaccines were transported to the regions through refrigerated trucks acquired for the purpose.
The additional resources we have in logistics is to provide a refrigerated truck to transport vaccine from the central level to the region and then from region to the district, from district to the vaccination center.
Government too spent in the acquisition of solar energy panels so the vaccines can be conserved within standard temperatures.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.
And on to our COVID-19 slot on the news. With the availability of the AstraZeneca and Sinopharm vaccines in Cameroon, Cameroonians are encouraged to go to the different vaccination centers and have themselves vaccinated against the coronavirus. A major concern by some is, after vaccination, must one still wear a face mask? Baldwin Sama and his guest, Dr. Joseph Fokam, are at the Public Health Emergency Center to attempt an answer to this question. Baldwin.
Good evening. It is a question many Cameroonians are asking these days. How possible is it, or is it mandatory to wear a face mask after any of the vaccines against COVID-19 these days in Cameroon? Let us find out from our guest, Dr. Joseph Fokam, who is a virologist. Good evening to you, Doctor.
Good evening, Baldwin.
After any of the vaccines against COVID-19, is it still mandatory to wear a face mask or continue respecting these other barrier measures against the coronavirus?
Yes, Baldwin. Yes, looking at the Cameroonian context, we are still in a very important epidemic condition in Cameroon. The vaccine coverage is still very low. So before we stop wearing face masks, we must make sure we have like 80% immunity within our community, what we call herd immunity, which we are still very far from that. So actually, vaccine is basically an additional preventive tool in what we have in the field. So what we really want everyone to understand for the moment, please go for vaccine. Vaccine is free of charge, yes, but continue using your face masks because us, as health experts, we are monitoring the process, and when there will be time that we have controlled the pandemic, then we'll let you know if you can stop wearing the face masks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph Fokam, for all those explanations. These outlined barrier measures are mandatory for us to break the contamination chain of this deadly virus in Cameroon. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Sama. And we take you over to the southwest region to talk on this human interest story where a fish believed to be a whale measuring about 4.5 meters long was caught along the shores of the seas of Limbe. According to eyewitness account, the fish was caught by some fishermen after it got trapped in their net. Tanjong Lewis Agwo reports from CRTV Southwest in Boya.
The 4.5 meters long whale was trapped in a net around the seashores in Limbe Down Beach, a creature most of the inhabitants have seen for the first time. The surprised and excited population were already carrying portions of the whale despite restrictions from some security officials present at the scene. According to officials of the Southwest Regional Delegation of Livestock, Fishery and Animal Industry, the whale is an endangered species which needs to be protected.
There was high tide and perhaps the water pushes the fish by the shore and suddenly it was trapped. Instead of the population now to inform the officials, we are getting the information late.
Being a Class A species, are supposed to wait for the authority to come. Seeing that the species already is still alive while they're slaughtering it is not a good sign.
While some people are still ignorant about the protection of these aquatic animal species, the government says it will continue sensitizing the population on the need to preserve these endangered species.
The city mayor of Yaoundé, Luc Messia Tangana, was today received in audience the French ambassador to Cameroon, His Excellency Christophe Guilou. Both men discussed how to improve the standard of living of inhabitants of Yaoundé through French debt relief-funded projects. Here's the French diplomat pledging his country's commitment to help embellish the city of Yaoundé in an excerpt edited by Gilbert Ongene.
I also recall the commitment of France through the Agence Française for the Développement for the development of the city, and we are fully engaged in the cooperation in project since a lot of years, since decades, into basically the moving of the population, transportation, the cleaning of the city, and the sustainable development of the city.
The city of Bafoussam in the West region will soon be a reference in digital marketing and security in Cameroon thanks to a smart city project. A project signed between the Director General of Cameroon's Telecommunications Camtel, Judith Sunday Achidi, and the city mayor of Bafoussam, Roger Tafam. Go Henry reports from Bafoussam.
Following the signing of this partnership for the Smart City project between Camtel and the Bafoussam City Council, the municipality will become a veritable hub for digital security before the upcoming AFCON. The Director General of Camtel and the City Mayor of Bafoussam have said it is a win-win partnership.
Camtel being the incumbent operator, we have the duty to make sure that we develop smart cities in all our cities in Cameroon by bringing connectivity to the population of Bafoussam to make sure that they ease their daily activities, to make sure that the Bafoussam population lives in security.
The city mayor of Bafoussam added that it will transform the municipality and make it a reference in Cameroon.
We are going to bring connectivity to their homes and let them just follow us. Every month, we are sure we will bring a new project in town.
The Bafoussam City Council is the first in Cameroon to benefit from the Smart City project. The event that was marked by a visit to the AFCON 2021 Game Village in Bafoussam was attended, among others, by the West Chief Scribe Gilles Sadi.
Cameroon joins the world today to celebrate the 39th edition of World Dance Day. A two-day dancing workshop has been organized tonight at the National Institute of Youth and Sports here in Yaoundé. In the following report, Victor Siga presents some major cultural events scheduled for the weekend.
Start the weekend tonight with Sandrine Nanga at the Laboratoire Musical in Bastos. She will be thrilling you with the best songs of her album. See tonight in Yaoundé. Celebrate the 39th edition of International Dance Day at the National Institute of Youth and Sports. For 2 days, come and discover how dancing positively impacts your lives. Go along with your mask as you enjoy the weekend. Happy weekend.
8 Day 9 fixtures of Cameroon's top-tier league will take place in stadiums across the country this weekend. In Pool A, Union of Douala will take on AS Fortuna, while Apejes of Fou will lock horns with Tonnerre Kalara Club of Yaoundé in Pool B. Here are the complete fixtures of this weekend with Romeo Kenny.
At the Young Sports Academy Stadium this Sunday, home side PWD will match up Edin Sports of the Lake. The Abakwa boys have remained unbeaten this far. In other Pool A hostilities, Avion Academy of Nkam will welcome Fovu FC of Baham, and Union Sportif of Douala, alias the Nasara Gamakai, will lock horns with group leaders AS Fortuna. The Mangwa boys of Bambutos FC of Mbuda will challenge Dragon Club of Yaoundé. In Pool B, the Yaoundé Onmi Sports Annex A Stadium will host the Central Regional Derby pitting Apejes of Fou versus Tonnerre Kalara Club of Yaoundé. At the Bepanda Annex Stadium, Astro of Douala, Les Brésiliens de Bepanda will clash against the Zuimantos Panthers Sportif of Ndé. The matches will be played between 1 and 3 p.m. across stadia. UMS Yosa clash will unfold on Monday. The Colombe Coton game has been postponed. Stade Renard are day 9 exempt. Elsewhere, the second gathering of table tennis players will take place Sunday at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex, while in Judo, a national competition grouping junior men and women competitors is slated this Saturday at the National Institute of Youth and Sport, INGS.
And it is here we draw the curtains on this edition of the 7:30 News. Thanks for watching. You'll be in the company of Nicole Dodo at 8:30. Tomorrow, same time, I'll be here on the set. It's bye from all of us on the 7:30 News. Good night.
urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.